Issa's been on a 10-day trip. He's been to Washington, D.C. He's spoken at Harvard. He's spoken at MIT. He's been to Hartford, Connecticut. He's been to Goshen, Indiana, and now he's been here. In 2010, Issa was recognized by the United Nations as a human rights defender. Last year, he was called by the New York Times, what was it, the New York Times Review?
Magazine.
No, New York Times Magazine, Palestinian Gandhi. Last year he was awarded the Right Livelihood Award, which is the alternative Nobel Peace Prize, awarded that in Stockholm. And just a few weeks ago, he and our friend Jeff Halper, a Jewish activist, Jewish Israeli activist, were jointly nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I happen to have the privilege of serving on Issa's board here in the United States, the Friends of Hebron. And so we here at Indiana Center for Middle East Peace are delighted to be hosting our good friend, Issa Amro. Issa?
Thank you, Mike. And thank you for having me here. I feel I am home. I feel you are as a family to me, because I see all of you in the movement of justice and peace and equality. I want to wish you a blessed Palm Sunday to all of you. And I want to thank Indiana Center for Middle East Peace for their great contribution, support and help to the Palestinian people on the ground. I want to thank all of you for your great work, for making peace, for making the occupation accountable, for helping Palestinian voices to reach American people, for helping many Palestinian families to remain and stay resilient in their land. You make a huge difference. It's not only my opinion. Without you, we can't continue fighting the occupation peacefully on the ground. Your contribution, your donations, your political campaigning, your online support, your protests, your direct actions here, the majority of the Palestinians understand it now. In the streets of Hebron, people stop me, normal people. They are not politically affiliated, and they are not politicized. They tell me, Issa, you have friends in America, they are really protesting for us. We are not alone. They see the students in Columbia University, in Harvard University, in MIT University protesting. The students in Palestine say, wow, these universities, the students, the Americans, not all the Americans are as Mr. 47. Not all the Americans are the ones who are supporting the occupation and supporting the Israeli settlements. There are different American people who really care about peace, about justice, about equality, about a human being. And to be very honest, I'm Issa. Without your help and support and protection and care, I would not come here today, or I would not be alive, or I will be in jail for a long time. So you are doing amazing work, and mainly, I am here to thank you. Thank all the American activists, all the American organizations who are standing firm and strong in the right place and in the right side of history. It's not easy to be in the right side of history. It's hard. And it costs money, time, and energy. it has a price, and you are paying it, and you are ready to pay more. This is me too, I know. To be the right side of history with human rights, peace and non-violence and justice and people's rights, it's not free, it's not easy. It's a very hard way. It's very hard life for me and for you. So this is why I say that I feel home. I feel I am with my family here. We are in the way to create a movement against war, against injustice, against inequality. Something else, many people think that we protest, we contribute, we donate, we are not changing anything. Who said that? We are in defense. We are not in offense, we are in defense now. We are defending land, we are defending human beings, we are defending rights, and we are defending narrative. On the ground, Palestinians are staying in their land. Since 48, 67, 2023, now they are working very hard with all their power to take us out of our land. It's about the land in Palestine. But Palestinians are remaining, not only in Area A, which is under the Palestinian Authority control, or Area B, which is under the Palestinian civilian control and Israeli military security control, or Area C, which is under the military control and the civilian affairs, it's under the Israeli civil administration control. Palestinian families are staying in the desert of Jimba, South Mount Hebron. You will watch that in the film, No Other Land. Stay and remaining without electricity, without enough water, without transportation, without enough food, remaining strong as non-violence activists to make a change. And here, our narrative as Palestinian people, they used a lot of money to destroy our image as Palestinians, to destroy our dream of freedom and justice and equality. But your voice is the main voice in the United States. The majority of the American people are pro-peace and justice and equality in Palestine. It's you. And it changed a lot by time. It's because of your work. So we are winning the narrative from your hard work. So don't feel that you are not making a change. Something else very important. Yes, blood is there in Gaza. 60,000 Palestinians, among them around 20,000 Palestinian kids were killed. Hundreds of thousands were injured. Millions were displaced. The majority of the schools were destroyed and demolished in Gaza. All the universities are demolished in Gaza. They are killing life. Yesterday they bombed a hospital. Yesterday, around 36 hospitals and big medical centers were bombed. But the people are staying there, remaining. They are not leaving from Gaza. So they do all of that to take us out from our land, but we stay and remain. In the same time, we are reaching the news here. We are reaching the mainstream. Why? Because of you. Because of your protection to our narrative, and because of you are holding the truth on your shoulder and going around it all over the United States. So it's you. In spite of all of that, in spite of the 1,000 Palestinian people who were killed in West Bank since October 7th, among them 200 children. In spite of 1,400 attacks from settlers to Palestinians, in spite of destroying and demolishing at least 1,000 structures and announcing state lands 24,000 dunams were announced as a state land in 2024 only. The Israelis announced from 1993 to 2023 double this number only. So 24,000, it's half of what was announced, which means they are speeding up with settlement. In spite of all of that, because of your work, because of your commitment for justice and accountability, the Israeli Prime Minister is wanted as a war crime, as a war criminal for his war crimes. It was not a dream even to see the Prime Minister of Israel a wanted person by the International Criminal Court. That's a big achievement. It's because of the public pressure on the court and on the international system. Israel is accused of genocide. Israel is labeled as a genocidal country. The reputation is very important because Israel was selling itself here as a Western country, as the only democracy in the Middle East. You should invest and go visit and have a good relationship, normal economical relationship and cultural relationship. The Prime Minister of Israel to be wanted by the ICC and Israel is accused of genocide, it means Israel is not the only democracy in the Middle East. It means that Israel is not defending itself. Israel is defending its occupation. It's apartheid. Israel is labeled as an apartheid state as well. By whom? Human Rights Watch, the biggest American human rights organization, a neutral organization, a credible organization. Everybody in the United States, the left and the right, the conservative and the progressive people, take all its reports about China and about Russia. But when it's about Israel, they doubt. And by Amnesty International as well. Israel is an apartheid state. Why it's an apartheid state? Because me, Issa Amro, and the Palestinian people are living under the Israeli military law. What it means to live under the Israeli military law? It means non-violence resistance. This is one of the main values of the Americans. Non-violence resistance and civil disobedience, the civil rights movement. General Assembly is not allowed according to the Israeli military law. It's not allowed. I was arrested, ill-treated, indicted, convicted in the military court because of my non-violence activism. I have an example. Not only me. Many other Palestinians were convicted and even killed as human rights defenders. So the military system is not about security. The sole purpose of the military system and the military courts to suppress Palestinians who are asking for freedom. It's not about violence or non-violence. It's about freedom. Something else in the military law, you are guilty by law. By law, I am guilty as a Palestinian until I'm proven innocent. Which means that I have no rights as a human being. Then the Israeli political leaders say, the war is between the civilized people and uncivilized people. The Palestinians are human animals. They are treating us that way since very long time. But now they are taking it out. They are exposing themselves. So Israel to be labeled as an apartheid because of the two systems, they are imposing one against the Palestinians, the military system, and one for the settlers. In Hebron, if you come and visit me, and Michael and the Indiana Center for Middle East Peace, they organize many trips to Palestine. You come and see that I live very close to settlers, Israelis. They are under the civilian law and I am under the military law. When kids fight, Palestinian kids and Israeli kids fight, the Palestinian kids are arrested and the Israeli kids are not. What is that? Apartheid. Apartheid. It's the definition. It's the UN definition of apartheid. It's not me who defined it. It's not you. It is the international law. It's the international organizations, international neutral organizations. So Israel is accused of apartheid, genocide, and the Israeli Prime Minister is wanted by the International Criminal Court. That's the way to make peace. How we can make peace? By making the occupation costly for the occupiers, not to force the victims to accept the occupation, to accept to be a second-class citizens in their own country and in their own land. The civil rights movement made the black people equal the white people. Did it change the white supremacists? No. It changed the systems. Because a human being comes before a state. The system comes after the people. People are more important than the systems. The systems are there to govern, to make everybody equal, to protect human beings, not to destroy human beings. So the Israeli occupation is working very hard to take us out, to transfer us, to take our land, to destroy our narrative. And look how, because of you, because of your work, because of many Palestinian Gandhis from South Mount Hebron with no other land winning Oscar. Without a war in Gaza, Palestinian film would not win Oscar in Hollywood. We are winning Hollywood together. Hollywood here. And you know how many filmmakers now will make films about Palestine? Or their films will have some part about Palestine? It's really moving that more people understand, more people learn, more people know the truth without filters, without the mainstream media trying to equal us and describe it as a conflict. It's not a conflict. It's occupation, occupiers, oppressors, occupied people and occupation, and oppressed people. This is the relationship. There is no equal parts. Now in West Bank, they are trying to create facts in the ground to annex West Bank to Israel without the Palestinians. But they are stuck. Palestinians are not leaving. There are many Gandhis in Palestine. The women, the teachers, the engineers, the students, the farmers, the workers, they are all fighting by, we have this phrase, existence is resistance. For me, it's not enough existence. For me, I say active existence is resistance. You have to act and to show visibility of your refusal of the Israeli occupation and apartheid, peacefully. So, do we have many peaceful, non-violence rebels? Majority of the Palestinians are. A student going to school, passing the checkpoints and fighting the soldiers to pass the checkpoint is a non-violence activist. So we have many Palestinian non-violence activists. And in spite of the reality and the hardness of what we face, I am very optimistic. And we are really winning. And we have really here many voices, even politicians here, are listening to us, and they are really moving. There are many political leaders in the United States. It's new in the last 5 years or so. They are talking about conditional aid to Israel. You have many problems here, financial problems, and your government is sending your tax money to apartheid, to occupation. You have a problem with medical aid, medical health insurance, and Israeli occupiers, they have a free medical insurance, and they have a prosperity because of American free money, donation, political support, investments. Even they give them technologies to become rich. So they have a quality life, a welfare life, and American people who are really working class and they work very hard, their tax money is going to kill Palestinian children in Gaza. and to kill Palestinian children in the West Bank, and to suppress human rights defenders as me, to suppress human rights organizations as Al-Haq and other human rights organizations. So you have a lot to do here to stop funding the occupation, to stop funding apartheid, to stop funding settlements, illegal settlements. Be creative, think how to do it, do strategy estimate, where we can intervene, where we can push, what we can do. You're already doing well. Continue with your commitment to achieve freedom. Then we all will celebrate here, and we will celebrate in Palestine, I hope soon. We are almost there, to be very honest. I feel we are reaching the peak. Then it will go down at once. This is how Palestinians think and how Palestinians believe. We are winning almost everywhere the narrative. To win an Oscar is a big deal. And many Palestinians are winning in many other organizations now, all over the world. We are winning many people. Look to UK. Millions in the streets. Bangladesh yesterday, millions in the streets. Spain, millions in the streets. Netherlands, Canada. Canada, the Canadian Prime Minister said, no more weapons to Israel. Canada. The Prime Minister dared to say no more weapons to Israel. Their last chance is the current American administration. This is their last chance. No new American administration will give them anything more than what they are given. Trump gave them free hands to do whatever they want. Will they win? No. Because they will never be able to defeat us as a movement toward justice. They were not stronger than the British mandate in India with Gandhi. And the South Africa apartheid regime was very, very strong as well. The white supremacists here, it was crazy here. And your civil rights movement made a change. And if you search, you will find the same white supremacists from the 50s are the same ones who are supporting the occupation now. And the Americans who fought the white supremacy here, with a good heart, they are here. We are making a change not only for 1 year. We are making a change for a very important era. And if it's not now, it's when? Now it's the right time. And something else very important. The French Revolution. You know about the French Revolution. Because many people say, but we are not many. We are minority. We are only 20%. We are only 15%. We are only 5%. French Revolution, which changed almost Europe, only 10%, less than 10% of the French people participated in that revolution. So we need 10% committed, hardcore Americans to believe in making the change for good. It's about the commitment. It's about being pioneer, being so stubborn about making the change. And I am one of the people who is so stubborn to make the change. I came from Hebron. Hebron city means Al-Khalil in Arabic. Al-Khalil is a city where you can understand and learn about apartheid. It's the microcosm of the Israeli occupation. Come for a few hours, you understand segregation, separation, ethnic cleansing, checkpoints, closure, movement barriers, Israeli supremacy, settler, Kahanist in Hebron. In spite of that, we fight them peacefully. Are we winning? Yes. We are protecting many houses and we're protecting a lot of land. We do well to stay and remain. And we create community there. We create a lot of, stubborn women and children to stay and remain and confront peacefully the occupation. They stayed. I didn't expect anybody would stay after October 7th in the restricted part of Hebron. They stayed, the families. They remained because they believe in it's their land and staying is resistance. Existence is resistance. Hebron, we have 22 checkpoints in less than 1 kilometer square, 100 movement barriers, segregated street fences, violence here and there, and now they added surveillance with artificial intelligence, remote control guns connected to systems, so you are a target, and the machine decides to target you or not. In Hebron, that system, they are trying to copy it, test it on us, and then send it all over West Bank, and even from the river to the sea. Those systems, if we don't stop them in Hebron, you will find them in a few years in Indiana. This model of separation and segregation, if we don't stop them together, because it's about supremacy, you will find them here, all over the United States. This is how it is. Because Mr. Trump described you as the enemy of the people, because you talk about him stealing the stocks market, him stealing your narrative, stealing and lying and saying a lot of lies. So Hebron is the model where we should fight and concentrate our resistance, nonviolence resistance, to defeat that system on its origin. But are we doing well? Yes. Our movement growing? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. Are we going to continue? Yes. So my message to you, thank you very much for coming tonight. Thank you very much for listening to me, for hosting me here, and for doing what are you doing. And I promise you, I will go back home in 1 hour, optimistic, feel protected, and send your message to my people to stay and remain and fight, because they are not alone. Thank you very much, and I will be ready to answer your questions.
Thank you, Issa. Who would like to ask the first question?
Any question is important. Ask.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll start, and then
He's always starting. Don't give him this opportunity.
That might get the ball rolling. One of the things that is strong about you, Issa, is that your work is about building up civil society. In other words, it's not just critique of Israel, but it's about building up the infrastructure of Palestinian civil society. Can you name for us maybe 3 of the projects that you're creating now and how we can be supportive?
Thank you very much, Mike. He's always practical as me. Engineers are practical. So I'm recruiting him to our engineering association. I'm so practical. The imbalance between the Israelis and the Palestinians is so high.
You see, use the microphone here.
Yes, the imbalance between the Palestinians and the Israelis is so high. And this is the main reason peace is not possible. Imbalance, so high. So my philosophy is to level up Palestinians. Okay? So I'm creating a cinema now. We are in the last stage of opening it. You know, we are doing the last things. You know, we want to smuggle in the screen and few other things. To buy the screen and smuggle it, the big screen, because we are not allowed by facts, not by law. Another thing we did was a kindergarten. We established a kindergarten for Palestinian children to study in their neighborhoods, because they are not allowed. We established a women's center for the women after school teaching to do their own projects. Nowadays, I'm organizing from here a project for women to go to Bethlehem, do photo exhibition and sell their products there to buses of women and children. They are leaving and going and establishing a new committee and empowering them to be able to lead actions by themselves. We founded a youth center during the war. In the war, people are restricted. They are not able to do anything or to go and have any kind of social life. During the war, I worked on establishing a public space for youth in the community to play tennis together, to play cards together, and stay together in a place where they can plan together how to stay and remain in spite of the hardness and in spite of the miserable life, the occupation they try to enforce on them. So it's about they remove any infrastructure for development. Sarah Roy, she's American, Harvard Jewish scholar, she wrote a book called De-Development. So it's by October, before October 7th, okay? And if you want to understand. The occupation is trying to remove any infrastructure for living or for development. So I oppose that by creating an infrastructure for people to live with a little bit of quality life. Cinema, school, kindergarten, a women's center, youth center, public playground. Now I'm doing the assessment for a public playground for the women and the children in the community, to keep them there, to stay there. That's small projects I do. I have other projects, for example, because their philosophy, you don't feel safe. You don't feel secure. So how the people will feel safe? We have something called counter-surveillance project. Counter-surveillance. Cameras, security systems in the houses, smoke detectors, protecting their walls to counter-surveillance. That's one of the projects we are working on the ground. If we manage to do it in Hebron, we'll go to South Mount Hebron, then to the north of Hebron, Gush Etzion, and that areas. So we try to stay and exist with active existence. This is what I call it, active existence is resistance. He asked me to be short with my answers, to ask me many questions. He likes to ask questions, Mike.
Who would like to ask the next question?
Yes, please.
Yes, please, Tom.
Here in our community, and maybe all over the U.S., we hear the term occasionally regarding members of the Jewish community, progressive except for Palestine, PEP, progressive except for Palestine. And the individuals that are extremely progressive with regard to all kinds of issues affecting like minority groups, any group that isn't the majority white community in the U.S. So do you have any suggestions from your experience?
Yes.
For how to break any of those barriers? I think those folks are all ready to be rejected by the entire Jewish community if they open their mouth at all.
Yes.
Repeat the question.
The question is that you have here many groups who are progressive. Except Palestine. I know them, yes, okay? It's good that they are progressive. It's very important. Except Palestine, we want to change it, okay? We want them to be completely progressive, okay? How we can make them more progressive and to be progressive for everything, it's my opinion. First, to try to increase their awareness and to encourage them to be willing to pay the price of being progressive about Palestine as well. Because some people don't want to pay the price for that. They know it's expensive for them to speak out or to do anything against the occupation. Okay? Something else. Now, progressive in general are under attack. Okay? And you can't be only progressive about the US. You will be completely progressive. This is what I say, that when we are under attack, we, the people who are progressive about everything, among it, it's Palestine, the other people need us. Because we have the experience. We are strong. You are strong. So nowadays, it's the time to mobilize together against attacking all the progressive. Because there are attacks against any progressive ideas. So when we are all under attack, the ones who are except Palestine, we will bring them with us. Because you are the ones who should include them, not exclude them. And always talk to them and have dialogue with them and inform them and send them to Palestine. I managed to change many Americans who were progressive except Palestine. Okay? And really they are changing. If they are really progressive, they change and they open their eyes. But we need to send them to Palestine with mics, tours, to make them open their eyes and see what they are supporting. Because they don't see themselves as progressive except Palestine. They think Israel is a progressive country. They think Israel is the country of freedom and human rights and justice, small terrorists fighting them. This is how Israel is selling itself, unfortunately. And criticizing Israel is not anti-Semitism. This is something very important. Our cause as Palestinians is clean from any anti-Semite person. We don't want any anti-Semitism to be among us. We don't want any Islamophobia. We don't want any kind of racism in our cause, in our passion. So when we speak loudly and clearly about that anti-Semitism is not part of our resistance, in that way we win many people. Who is misusing anti-Semitism and politicizing the term? Israelis and Trump. They are putting Jews in danger because anti-Semitism will be wider than its real meaning. So they are the ones who are putting Jews in danger. They are bringing back neo-Nazis and fascism to go after the Jews. We include the Jews' protection in our cause. We don't want the Jews to suffer again, the Jewish people. They are part of our movement. We work together, we love them, we care about them. They love us and they care about us. I go and speak in many Jewish groups here. I was invited in Harvard and MIT. Among them were many Jewish groups. When I spoke in Cambridge, many Jewish groups were organizing too. In Bradford, many Jewish groups were organizing as well. It's not about them, it's about us all together. So really, I don't see I see that we are not achieving, to convince the progressive, except Palestine, we should include them. They are already progressive, but we want them to be progressive for everything.
Yeah, Chuck and then Cliff.
You alluded to the civil rights movement, our civil rights movement, and of course, with Martin Luther King led the movement, there were many different groups within this country. There were nonviolent and violent groups that were advocating change. And how do the Palestinian people mitigate Hamas? And it seems that terrorism doesn't work anywhere, regardless whether it's Israeli or Palestinian. And you rarely hear efforts that how the Palestinian community is trying to mitigate and almost eliminate the Hamas because they don't want anything peaceful. They just want to kill people.
Thank you for your question, and thank you for your courage to ask this question. You said that during the civil rights movement you had 80% activities, actions, campaigning, using nonviolence resistance and following Martin Luther King. And you had 20% violent. Anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, the same. During Gandhi, the same. But the problem with our cause that the media concentrates on the violence and they don't talk about nonviolence. Many people were happy when New York Times magazine featured me. Wow, nonviolence activist Gandhi. What are you talking about? I'm not the only one. There are many people there. The main problem with nonviolence in Palestine that it's illegal by the Israeli military law, and the price is so high. They kill you for being nonviolence activist. They blacklist you. You will be blacklisted, which means you can't eat. So if we remove Hamas tomorrow, will Palestinians have peace? I want one to say yes. Tell me that if Palestinians remove Hamas, Palestinians will have peace.
No.
No. So what? What it means? Our problem is not Hamas. The problem is not Hamas. I'm not defending Hamas. I'm not Hamas. I'm not pro-Hamas. I'm a completely non-violence activist. I believe in only in non-violence. Okay? Our problem is the Israeli military system. That's what we have to change. Violence exists in every society. Here in Indiana, you have violence. Everywhere, violence is there. But they use Hamas as an excuse to continue the occupation. Hamas is a new party. In the 80s, they started. But before the 80s, why they occupied West Bank and Gaza in 1967? To defend themselves from the Arabs. This is the term they used. So we should not be hesitant about what are we doing. We should not, be trapped by saying terrorists. And in West Bank, 2024, it's from Peace Now. Peace Now is an Israeli organization, Israeli human rights organization. Palestinians suffered from at least 1,400 violent attacks. Hundreds of Palestinians were injured. Many were killed without any accountability. If you are Hamas in West Bank, you are killed or in jail by the Israeli military or by the Palestinian Authority. But if you are a violent settler, very violent settler, you speak violence, you incite violence, you are not accountable. The one who gave me 5 stitches here, and 3 stitches here, and my nose was broken, and my shoulder, and my back, and my body was beaten, and my property was stolen and damaged, and everything happened to me. No one settler was accountable. Impunity. This is the point that what violence and non-violence? Non-violence is not allowed by the military system. The main issue is the occupation. When the occupation ends, any crime, anything violent will be a crime from this side or that side. So we should concentrate on the main goal, and yes, we should reform our leadership as Palestinians. We should reject corruption. I was arrested for fighting corruption from our authority. I don't mind. I go firm against corruption and against anything which will not help my cause from our side as well. We need to reform our leadership. We need to really try to have decision-making roles as Palestinians. So don't be bought by the media here. Because if Hamas surrender tomorrow, and they say, we want to leave Gaza. 1982, they said, PLO is the problem in Lebanon. Leave Lebanon. They left Lebanon, they did Sabra and Shatila massacre. And Palestinians didn't get peace. Until now, we didn't get peace. We lose more land by day. So they are justifying this with Hamas. And why the United States had a good relationship with Taliban? Why they removed the Houthis from the terrorist list for a while, till they come and fight for Israel now. When I met Blinken 2021, my suggestion to him was to remove Hamas from the terrorist list, the State Department terrorist list, and include them in the PLO, unify the PLO, do a Palestinian election, force the Palestinian leader to do elections so Palestinians elect new leadership. Hamas will be tiny in that Palestinian society, they will not be the majority, and then force Israel to end its occupation. If Blinken listened to me, we would not have October 7th. But they don't want to provoke Israel. They don't want to provoke their plan that Israel is from the river to the sea. They feel provoked when the students in universities free Palestine from the river to the sea. They say they want to destroy the state of Israel. Who says that? Palestine free from the river to the sea, it means all the Israelis and the Palestinians will be free to make peace with each other. Because we don't want to remove the Israelis and we don't want to remove the Jews. We want to remove the systems, the apartheid systems, and change the systems, and we all live together in one state or 2 states. Choose any good solution you want as an Israeli or pro-Israel. But don't justify occupation, apartheid, genocide, and targeting civilians because of Hamas. Thank you for this question.
Thank you.
Cliff, please.
Issa, I think this question is sort of following up that.
Are you cheating from each other?
No. As young-
Cliff, I hear that you are doing great activism even here. Don't be shy, be proud.
As children are growing up in Palestine, how do you raise a child as a nonviolent activist as they faced checkpoints, as they faced home demolitions, as they faced older siblings being
Okay.
arrested?
Okay,
How do you raise?
thank you for the question. As a child, me personally, my family wanted me to stay away from politics. What made me an activist? My personal dream was to become a professor in engineering. I'm now working on it, okay? But what made me change my life dream was the army. The army closed my university. So I had to fight for my education degree. So I graduated as an activist and as an engineer, okay? So Palestinian children, they really learn how to fight the occupation from life, not from the curriculum or from their parents. There is no incitement. We try to find life, Cliff, in Palestine. One time I was in the Gush Etzion military detention center. I was a permanent visitor there. You know, arrested. I had my own cell. It's written Issa Amro. And whenever I come, human rights person, come, your cell is ready. And it's very bad. It's, you know, naked, they sit you naked. You remember Guantanamo? How they treat the prisoners there? I was treated like that. But I always, you know, I go to court, they release me. The Israeli military court conviction rate is 99.73. But I get from this tiny, I get out. They say Issa is the smartest to escape because of documentation. Documentation is the secret to escape from the military court, because you are guilty until you are proven innocent. So I'm arrested guilty. How to be released? You need evidence. What are the evidences? Videos. So this is how I do it. So I was there. They were treating the Palestinian kids, 15, 16, 17 years old. And to be very honest, the worst arrest experience, detention experience was October 7th, but the worst arrest experience was being arrested with Palestinian children, 14, 13, 12 years old, and they ill-treat them. They treat them as terrorists. Handcuffed, blindfolded, knee, beat them up, your face to the ground, don't look to the soldiers' eyes, beating them up every hour almost. So I was going to court, and the soldiers there, they are so wild. They think they own everything. The soldiers are 18, 19, 20 years old. You know, they are not, you know, elders. They are young. So I told the soldiers, I'm going to the court and I'm going home. He said, what? No way, nobody goes home. I told him, if I come back with a release decision from the court, will you listen to me? One of them said, no. The other one said, oh, okay. But you don't eat for 3 days if you stay, if you don't get it. I told them, don't mind, I'm coming back. I went, I have very strong Israeli lawyer. I did nothing to be arrested. And I have the visibility, I have the evidence that I did nothing. So I came back, we said in Hebrew, shahrur. I told him, Ani shahrur, I am with a release decision. He says, what? Show me. He saw it. Come, listen to me. The other ones didn't want to listen. They escaped. Other soldiers told them, no, all of you should come here. I told them, stop creating suicide bombers here. He said, what? What you do to children, they come out to revenge. It's not about resistance. You affect their dignity here. They come out with a personal decision to revenge from you and harm you. It's not about political, you know, resistance. It's about personal revenge from you. So stop doing that. One of them said, what? I told them, this is the reality about your system. So the Israeli occupation, they mean to target Palestinian children, to make them violent children. They targeted lately, and it was in Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, they targeted the Palestinian teenager girls, sexually harassing them at the checkpoints. They meant to do it. And I documented it, and it was mentioned in Haaretz, and they took the testimonies of 5 girls in the same 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, 5 girls talked about it. Then the community talked about how it was a phenomenon. So they really do it in purpose. They want the Palestinians to stay violent. Why? To justify occupy us, to justify kill us, to justify control us. How we go over that? With my group, we train children about nonviolence resistance. I don't only train them because they hate books and they hate lectures. I show them videos, films from the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. I take them with me when I go. I said, training by work, project-based learning, work-based learning. I take them with me, I give them cameras, I tell them this is how you react to violence. This way, you train them legally too about their rights, you train them politically, you really feed them, because you need to feed them. Otherwise, it's not good for children to be politicized from early ages. But if you don't take care of them politically, they will be a victim of the occupation and they become violent. But in general, as my parents wanted me not to be politicized, the majority of the Palestinian families don't want their children to be politicized. I go to universities, Palestinian universities, to lecture about what I'm doing. I call it, I give them examples of me winning a house which was a military base, then a settlement, then I took it from the settlers, it became my house, and it became the resistance hub of the occupation and apartheid in Hebron. That's my house in Tel Rumia. That's the story. I give them that story. I give them documentation stories, campaigning stories, tourist stories, legal stories, community activism stories. To be very honest, between 100, I get 80 of them. They come to me and tell me, Issa, we are very happy and proud of you, and we want to follow your steps. But can you talk to our parents? Can you convince our parents? Can you call my mother and tell her, this is the issue? The parents, my parents. I used to block my mother from Facebook, not to see what I'm doing, or to see what happens to me. My brother used to tell them, Issa is traveling. Where is Issa? Is traveling. But why you didn't tell us? Surprise. But I'm in jail. Parents, you are all parents almost here. You know what it means, a child. It's the same, mothers, they have the same care about their children in spite of their, of their religion or origin or ethnicity. Mothers are mothers, parents are parents. They want to protect their children. Animals, they want to protect their children as well. It's a human being, and even animal, it's in an animal's, mind to protect the children and the babies. And this is something we should all work together to tell Americans about it. Palestinian women don't put their children in front. Who said that? They put themselves in front to protect their children. But our children are growing with more knowledge, with more experience, with more commitment, not to give up and not to use violence.
Yes, please.
So, do you have any published writings or anything you can recommend for reading more about what you're talking about today?
Yes, I can send you.
Repeat the question.
The question is, do we have any published writing? We have a lot of videos about what I'm talking about, and I can send you some writing. We have a booklet as well. I can send it to you. Mike has my contact, or Issa Amro anywhere on social media.
All right.
And write me.
Send it to me, and then we'll make it.
Yes, all the best. It's not only to raise your hand because you are in the back. Stand up.
Linda Kerr, please.
Well, I'm kind of bashful, but as how you're rearing Palestinian children and the morals that you're hoping to instill and the the thing to make them want to be peaceful resistors. Can you explain at all what fulminates the anger and the hatred and the awfulness of an Israeli settler child? And the soldiers to be so hateful. When we were in Hebron in 2023, there was a soldier standing as we got off the bus, and one of the men in our group said to him, do you speak English? And he's like, yeah, I'm from Chicago. But here he is, ready to be a killer for Israel. Help me understand where the anger generates in the Israeli military, these young kids who've come from all over the world to defend Israel, and then the anger among children to be so devastating to Palestinian kids.
I suggest that you follow a very important Israeli organization called Breaking the Silence. Breaking the Silence. Google them. They publish testimonies from ex-Israeli soldiers about their experience serving in the occupied territories. Nowadays, they are publishing stories from soldiers served in Gaza. They published the first chapter, but I promise you, I know things, confidential things about this organization. Many testimonies are coming out. Many good testimonies. About children, settler children. I like children. I love children. And I do a lot of children activities in my group. And sometimes you see settler children are looking at you. They like, what are you doing? They're children, they don't understand. So what I do, I try to give them candies, biscuits. I know sometimes they steal my fruits, my pomegranate or grapes. I go to them and tell them, guys, don't steal. Ask me, I give you as much as you want. Don't steal. One time, we had a kids' activity and we were giving out biscuits and juice to the children. So I saw 6, 7 years old settlers, children from the neighborhood looking. So I went and I gave them. They were very happy to take, to be very honest. And they went to their mothers happy. They came back. I thought their mothers asked them to come back to me to thank me. They poured the juice on me. Okay, that's what happened. Another time, other kids, they asked me to get pomegranate, I was very happy, to be very honest, because I like children. I don't want these children to grow up with hate, because they feed them with hate. They brainwash them with hate. And to be very honest, the problem is with Zionism. They feed them with Zionism that you own the land, they stole it from you, they killed your grandparents, all these kind of lies, which was not true. So I gave them pomegranates. They were super happy, the kids. And I gave them not only one. I told them, each one gets 2. Because you asked. And they took it in front of me. And wow, we are not stealing. We are getting what we want without Issa filming us and complaining about us. So they were very happy. They went to their mothers. After a few minutes, they came back and they threw it at me. So I talked to the mother. I told her, you are destroying your kids. You are not raising them patriot of Israel. Your kids are stealing from me, from my fruits. Who steals my fruits? Steals other people's fruits. If he steals my fruit here in Hebron, they will steal fruits in Tel Aviv. The last story, because we don't have time. Orit Strok is an Israeli minister in the current Israeli government. She's from Hebron. She's the settlements minister. She was against ceasefire. She was with deportation of all Gazans to Egypt. Very fanatic and extreme woman. 20 years ago, her son raped a Palestinian child in Naples. She established a human rights organization to defend him. 3 days ago, she was a scandal of Israel. She was the scandal, the main star of Israel. You know why? She was accused of abusing her daughter and her children sexually. Her father, her husband, and her son. They were abused, and one daughter She filed a complaint against her, and she went public. If you allow it happen to other people, it happens to you. This is what I say. The last thing, which was circulating a lot in social media after October 7th. From the first moment of October 7th, I gave a public speech about that it's very wrong to kidnap Israeli civilians or to kill Israeli civilians. And it's just justified. Openly I said it. But 1 year before October 7th, Israeli soldiers mistreated our children, arrested them, beat them up. So I was talking to one of the commanders in front of camera, and I told him, life is a circle. What you do to our children will happen to your children in the future. Life is a circle. What we do now will come back to our next generation. We are doing a right thing now. Our generation will do the right thing, and the right thing happen to them. They are doing a very wrong thing now. This will come out, I hope not. I hope not. It will come back to them in the future. So to be in a right side of history, it means you are in the right side of the truth and the right side of morals and principles of every human being will be proud of it now and after 1,000 years. Thank you very much.
Issa, you have really blessed us today, you've challenged us today, you've inspired us today. We are better for your work in Hebron, and we are better for your being with us today. Any kind of last words you'd like to share with us before you get on a plane in an hour and a half?
Yes, I'm very proud that this visit made me closer to Mike, to know each other more and to become more friends, to work for making a change. My last word to you tonight, today, this evening, this afternoon, is that be united. Accept the differences among you. All the organizations should work together and never lose hope. And stay with your commitments because we need you. And we depend on you. And you are doing great work to protect us. And thank you very much. And be in touch with us. Come to visit us. And stay active. Stay, as you are. And try to be more visible about your contribution for the Palestinian rights, for the human rights, the universal human rights all over the world, because you are the right people doing the right thing on the right time. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. I am here. I am your brother. I am part of your family. I hope that you consider me part of your movement and part of your family here. And thanks to Indiana Center for Middle East Peace. Peace is what we are looking for. Thank you very much.
Sarah, just